Bhutan is said to be the place where happiness is at home. Protected by high mountains in the north and thick jungle in the south, the country is the last kingdom in the Himalayas. The government's top priority is keeping its citizens happy. That includes protecting pristine natural environments. The people live according to their traditions, yet at the same time are connected to the outside world online. Bhutan is located between two giants, China and India. Nevertheless, it's managed to chart its own course. Our journey begins far away from the capital, in the remote eastern part of the country, where not much has changed in the last 100 years. Six-year-old Doryi is facing the biggest challenge in his life so far. Today, he's going to leave his home and family.
Bullseye!
Yeah, that was.
You can't do it.
It's the last morning Dorji's mother is going to spend with him before he leaves for the monastery.
Of course I'll miss my son, but I don't want to be in the way on his path to finding Buddha. I'll be sad for a few days. Then I'll get used to it. Our decision stands. Be a good boy. Behave yourself at the monastery and study hard. And eat 3 meals a day. Wait, I'll help you. Hold this.
I don't know what it's like in the monastery. There are big buildings in the city.
It's time to go. Dorji's journey to his new life as a monk begins. His parents and siblings won't see him for more than a year. They may not even be able to speak to him before that. Doryi has never left his village before. He's excited ahead of the 3-day trip and his first visit to the capital. In the northern part of the country, it's time to transplant the rice. Plant by plant, the Bhutanese staple food is being moved from one paddy to another. Choki, a farmer, grows a very special crop, flowers, edible petals for salads, risotto, or salt mixes. The business concept came from Switzerland. Bhutan's virgin soils and pure air should guarantee top-level organic quality.
We need the whole village to help us transplant all these seedlings from the greenhouse. My entire family helps too. When the cornflowers and marigolds we've planted here start to bloom, then we'll dry the flowers and send them to Switzerland. I brought this project to our village because it's fun for me to cooperate with young farmers to establish something. But it's really hard work. We don't know how these flowers will grow here. And there's a lot at stake for me. My children should be able to live from this too.
Choki's village is in the middle of Bhutan's primeval forest. Bears, leopards, tigers, and wild boar are a constant threat to the farmers.
Just last year, 14 cows were killed while grazing. If a tiger bites, it leaves behind a toxin so the wound doesn't heal for a long time. This wound here is more than a year old, but we would never kill a wild animal because that's a major sin in Buddhism. We need to live with the wilderness and protect our animals and plants as best we can.
Tonight, it's Choki's father's turn on watch. There's a tried and trusted old method that works best to get the wild animals off the rice paddies. Choki is expecting an important visitor and is making the national drink, butter tea.
First the tea, then the butter, and last the salt. Our flower project is 100% organic and a big opportunity for all of us in the village. If we used chemicals in our fields, that may be an advantage in the short term, but over a longer period it will make us ill. Our soils will dry out and lose their nutrients. Moving to organic is certainly good for our health, but we're risking crop failure. Everything we grow here will be worth more if the village is certified as organic. We can get a better price for it. We can use natural means to protect our plants.
But Choki's optimism is put to the test sooner than expected.
The plants are dying. Look, this is why. Ants are eating the roots. If we plant them out, everything will be infested. Look. Get rid of it.
But it's too late. The red ants are already in the field. Choki doesn't know what to do, but giving up is out of the question.
I'm going to talk to the local agricultural consultant. Maybe he has a solution. And could you call our partners in Switzerland to see if there are natural repellents?
More than half of all Bhutanese work the land like Choki. The country's goal is to maximize gross national happiness rather than just boost economic growth. Bhutan is prioritizing the satisfaction of its people, maintaining traditional culture and environmental protection. Every citizen is entitled to free education and medical care. 70% of Bhutan's territory is covered with protected forests. It's the only country in the world to bind more CO2 than it releases. The mountains are also sacred to the Bhutanese. They're home to some of the world's tallest, unconquered peaks. This is the Liap's domain. Since ancient times, these nomads have been herding yaks more than 4,500 meters above sea.
We want our son to get the education that we never had. Then he can get a good job in the city. If he doesn't do well at school, he'll have to stay here and work just as hard as we do.
Yaks living in the wild don't eat enough salt, so the herders provide it for them.
We give our yaks salt to keep them strong and increase their milk production. There are fewer and fewer yaks because in the warmer climate, they become ill more quickly. Besides, they're not really making us any money. We earn a living these days mainly by transporting freight with horses and gathering and selling rare herbal mushrooms that only grow here.
Chewang loves Bollywood music. His mobile phone doesn't have reception on the mountainside, so before he sets off, he always downloads the latest hits, entertaining old and young alike.
That's enough. I need to pack.
Pei still knows the traditional handicrafts and can weave yak wool into fabric to be sold.
I grew up with the yaks, and I like living here. My only problem is that I don't see enough of my husband. Most of the time, my mother, grandmother, and I are on our own. Chewang is often away for weeks, and I can't even call him on the phone. Even though he's just come home, he's already gone back out to search for mushrooms. I hope he finds a lot at least.
Look, that's where I'm going. Way up in the mountains.
I want to come too.
You're too little to come along.
Chewang's in for a long climb. The treasured mushrooms only grow way up in the Himalayas. It'll take him 2 days just to get there. Unlike Chewang, many young Bhutanese head for the city. Around 20% of the population now lives in the capital, Thimphu. The city is one of the fastest growing in Southeast Asia. The internet and television arrived at pretty much the same time 20 years ago. Since then, Bhutan has been changing fast. However, police still direct the flow of traffic. There are no traffic lights. Doryi is making a stop in Thimphu. His father wants to buy him a warm jacket there for the monastery.
It'll be very cold at the monastery.
There are no smaller sizes.
Okay, we'll take it.
In another part of the city, Dorji's future abbot, Lama Namgyal, is getting ready for the new start of the monastic year. He's on a big shopping expedition.
Put that with the rest.
His budget is tight. Even though the monastery receives public funding, Lama Namgyal is striking a hard bargain.
How much is the spinach?
25.
For this? When I was young, the monks just stayed in the monasteries. People visited them and brought them food, but it hasn't been that way for quite some time. We've got to go shopping here every week. The new year starts the day after tomorrow at my monastery. Around 80 monks are coming back from vacation, and we're expecting a lot of new children. It's the most hectic time of the year for me. How much?
60.
You've got to eat less now, otherwise it's too expensive. What about this? Please tie that up and we'll meet at the bottom of the path. Can you see our monastery up there at the top? It may snow soon. Set off so the first load can be put on the horses. The pickup's loaded and the second one's leaving right away.
They've almost finished. Now the purchases just have to survive being carried up the mountain on horses. It's a 3-hour climb to the monastery.
Where are the rest of the horses? I told the men they should start loading the horses, but nothing's happened. They're not listening to us.
It's time for Lama Namgay to take charge.
Here's something else.
Good. Okay. Could you tell him? Now what? Now it's snowing hard up on the mountain near our monastery. If we go up now with the horses, the snow will soften the load. These horses can't go up there anymore today, and the other half aren't even here yet. I don't know what I should do. I need to get up there today to prepare for the monks' arrival. It's giving me a headache. Oh, my head. So what do I do now?
Lama Namgay heads up without the horses.
Okay, we're going. See you tomorrow.
The horses are supposed to go up the next day, weather permitting. They'll arrive just in the nick of time. Again, it's time for a journey back into the past, to the valleys of central Bhutan, where time seems to have stood still.
Hey, Amma. Are the children up?
Yes, they're up and making breakfast.
I hope they're making my rice and tea with milk.
Okay, Appa.
Now I'm 73 years old and still have to do all the work myself.
I'll stop complaining. The kids found good jobs in the city and we're still here to look after the farm. The children are happy and we are too.
Our village is in such a high spot that our cows don't produce enough milk. Still, we take care of them every day and give them quality feed. We live from it, but it's hard work.
As long as we're here, we'll do it. And when we're not around anymore, hopefully our children will.
I hope so too. After all, these cows paid for their education. Hey, Amma, drive the cows over here. I'll take them out to pasture. The young archers from our village have challenged me to take part in a tournament in the annual festival. I think I'll join in again this year.
I'm worried. At your age, when you still compete, your eyes are really bad. You could shoot someone with the arrows.
No worries, I can still do it.
You're such a bragger.
This is a very special feather from a bird in our forest. When the young archers see this, all they're going to say is, wow. I've got to use a thread to attach it. Then I'll put on a metal tip by dipping the point in rubber lacquer and heating it. It's got to be as straight as can be. Otherwise, the arrow won't hit the target. Everyone will laugh at me. What's this old man doing here? But I'll show them. I need to look good for the festival, otherwise they'll say I'm too old.
That won't interest anyone.
Tomorrow's the big archery tournament. I heard you want to take part.
Yes, I do. You've kidded around with me long enough. I was already gnawing on bones when you were still just drinking milk.
Winter is coming. It's high time to harvest the rice. Choki, too, is seeing the first fruit of her labor. The farmers have discovered that neem tree oil is a natural tool for warding off the plague of ants. They've been spraying their fields with it regularly.
There are no ants here anymore. And over there, most of them are gone too. The first marigolds are starting to bloom. But we're worried because the organic farm inspector is coming from India today to see if we've met all the standards. We haven't used chemicals, but I don't know if neem oil is really okay.
This is Choki, the head of the farmers group. And this is Wangchuk. She's a part of the team. He wants to see which seeds you used and what plants you've got growing here and the different substances you treat the plants with. He wants to see records of your daily work.
And then along with that, we also have to assess if there is any risk of contamination from the neighbors.
You understand that?
Yes.
All around and then we...
First, they take soil samples near the neighbor's property line, then a few from the middle of the field. They mix the samples, which are sent to India to be tested for pesticide contamination. But then the moment of truth. What about the neem oil?
What you have used now, the neem formulation is acceptable. But before using it, it is better that you tell us, give us all the details, and after we say it is okay, you can use it. Fine, so it's a good start. So keep going strong.
I'm really very curious to see the soil test results.
If the results are positive, Choki's farm will be the first EU-certified organic farm in all of Bhutan. On the roof of the world, at more than 5,000 meters above sea level, Chewang is looking for cordyceps mushrooms, which are said to have healing properties.
I needed to take out a 3,000 euro loan to keep us above water for the next half year. That money's got to come back in now. I hope I find enough. Before, you could find the fungi everywhere because few people knew of their healing properties. Now you've got to go up higher to find them. Everyone here knows how much money you can get for them. Even people who've long since moved to this city are coming back now, because only people who live in the highlands are allowed to gather the mushrooms. Climate change is also contributing to them becoming more scarce. Today I'm not going to find anything. Luck isn't on my side.
Break time. The harvest is small. The 3 caterpillar mushrooms are worth about 15 euros.
I found one. This is the legendary cordyceps medicinal mushroom. Beneath the soil, the parasitic fungi infests a caterpillar. The caterpillar dies and the mushroom grows through onto the surface. We harvest this strange mix of caterpillar and fungi. Outside of Bhutan, people use them as medicine, especially to make men strong. It gives us a really good income. That's why there are still young people here. Some Highlanders can now even afford to take a helicopter taxi to go shopping in the capital, Thimphu.
Chewang will need to spend many more weeks searching in order to pay back that loan. Little Doryi and his father are beginning the last day of their journey. They're starting the climb to Lama Namge's monastery at an altitude of over 3,000 meters.
Walk a bit more. Tell me when you get tired.
I'm tired.
Just a little more, then I'll carry you.
Finally, after 4 more hours of hard hiking, they reach the monastery.
He's really small.
His legs are sore because he's walked so much.
Come on in. There are friends for you inside.
Go in, there's a stove in there.
That's better already. Now you're warm again.
His feet got cold because of the snow.
Now he'll sleep.
He said he had a headache too.
He's really very small for the monastery, but it's okay. Today and tomorrow will be hard for him. Then he'll slowly get used to it and find friends.
It used to be the custom that one child from each family became a monk. But in the meantime, the remote monasteries are more often a catchment for children from poor families.
Come on, let's sleep. Be a good boy and behave yourself, okay? Why are you crying? What? Don't cry. You shouldn't cry. Wipe your tears. Sleep now.
Profound faith accompanies and guides every act, either giving a beloved child to a monastery or even taking part in an archery tournament.
A lot can happen during an archery tournament. An arrow could easily hit someone. That's why we're praying today and giving gifts to the local spirits and gods, so that they protect us. Today the youngsters really don't know how difficult it was back then. They've all gone soft. I'll show them.
The target is 145 meters away. Every archer has 2 arrows. Ap Chimi has taken on a big challenge, but it nearly all goes wrong at the start when he has trouble stringing his bow.
The knot needs to be smaller.
The first attempt. Missed. Too bad.
This one will be a bullseye.
No.
I was once king of the archers, but now I'm 73, and it's high time the youngsters stepped into the spotlight. Now, I think I'll have to leave the stage to them.
Dorji's big day is here. The consecration of the monks. It symbolizes the day that Buddha left his palace in search of the meaning of life and truth. The change in appearance demonstrates the renunciation of all worldly goods and the beginning of a lifelong inner journey towards enlightenment.
Now your heads look like watermelons.
I feel different when I see my son as a monk. Now he's following Buddha's path, and that makes me happy. Hey, are you still sad?
When I came to the monastery at the age of 7, I was sad for a long time. My parents couldn't take care of me. They had money problems, so they sent me away. But today I thank them for their decision, because I could follow Buddha's path and have found inner peace in life and death. When you look at the boys, you only see little children, but they're not small anymore because their task is not a small one. Slowly they will learn through Buddha's teachings to subordinate their needs to the well-being of all living things. Starting now, Dorji's journey is part of our journey.
It's finally spring. Blossoming jacaranda trees decorate Punakatsong, the most famous monastery in the country. Nature is recovering from the long dry season. A period of waiting is coming to an end for Choki, too. The organic farming inspectors have given her the go-ahead. Her way to certification is clear. They can start harvesting the flowers today.
I've learned we've got lots of germs on our hands that we can't see with the naked eye. So when we harvest, we have to wash our hands very well. Everyone is excited because we've never done this work before. It's the first time. It's all blooming. Yes, all flowering. Just look. I see. Because of the ants, we couldn't transplant the cornflowers until late. They still haven't blossomed. I really hope they do. If this project brings the success we hope for, our grandchildren will still be working here and living from it.
2 months later, the cornflowers are there. And Choki's project has come to full fruition. What Choki has established is promise for the future. During times of change, it's worth working hard to make your fortune. Even in Bhutan, the place where happiness is at home.